Welcome to Inspired Textile Techniques. Now, one of the most exciting things about textile art is that you can create completely unexpected results. You can experiment with all sorts of fabrics and techniques and come up with something completely new. Now, today we've invited Marilyn Pipe, one of my favourite textile artists, to share with us some of her favourite techniques.
One thing I've learned through the years as a textile artist is that I love techniques that you can perfect, but you can't control the results. So today that's what we'll be doing. We'll be going through various things, some of my favourite things. Some you will have seen before, but some will be new and hopefully inspire you to go on to greater things. We're going to talk about how to make this particular embellishment on the bag, a button. There are lots of ways that you can make buttons. One of the easiest ways is to use a large plastic button as your base, and then you can make a surface which you can attach either by sticking or stitching onto the top. But this particular one I wanted to start from scratch, so I thought that a good complement to the bag would be copper, a bit of bling. So this is copper shim, which is a nice thin copper. You can use it on a sewing machine. You can indent it to make patterns if you want. It's quite a nice, thickness.
It's really thin, isn't it?
Yes. You can only use the thinnest one on a sewing machine, and you do need to replace your needle afterwards. So I started off by bonding it with Bondaweb. I'm sure you're all familiar with Bondaweb. Just by ironing it onto some felt at the back and ironing the copper on the top. So that's the first stage. Then I drew round my template just to give me the shape for the base, and if you'd be kind enough, Holly, to cut that out. It's nice having a little fairy helper. So if you can see here, that's masked a bit by some of the material I bonded on, but that is copper underneath there. I don't know whether you can see that. And then I took all the different rusted materials that I've done. There were, I think, 11 in this bag altogether, mainly silks, but that is silk organza, crisp organza that I've put through an embellisher. There is ordinary plain scrim, just the very cheap variety. Then there's Dupion silk there that I rusted, and that's a chiffon silk that I rusted and then I dip dyed in turquoise silk dye. And some more layers up, that's another piece of scrim. So you can layer all your pieces that you've got left over, any pieces. I thought, and I'm sure you can take this further with experimentation, but you could actually weave your silk. So if you took this a step further, I don't know what you think, but I think it would just add a bit of variety. You want to go under that one. And then when you've got it all in place, you can iron it down.
So you'd have your Bondaweb underneath.
You'd have your Bondaweb ironed on underneath. And it would really enhance it once you put some machine stitch on as well. It's just to give you a bit of variety. And just to refresh, if you want it hotter, you hold it closer to the fabric, and cooler, you move it back again. And you use a wooden kebab stick, so it's not a heat conductor. So we'll just see. And it'll move quite fast when the gun heats up. So you just travel across the top. The edges will tend to curl up at first, but you can get them back. So if you just watch when it gets going.
And you go over it quite slowly?
Yes, it depends on the heat. Once it gets warm, Grace, you have to move it quite fast. But if you imagine a Hoover or a lawnmower, you can go back and forth quite evenly. You probably don't need to move the heat gun a lot. Just keep it quite still. And then you'll notice the bits, the edges showing through. Just burn that back. So it changes the surface quite dramatically.
So you've just had a taster of our workshop, and we hope you've enjoyed it.
If you too have been inspired, watch our website on colorissues.com, and there you'll be able to buy your own DVD.